All right, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Paradyme Podcast. We're so grateful that you're here. Today, we're going to be discussing books 5 through 8 of the Iliad by Homer. So, again, we just started a new book. So, this is the one we're reading. If you're reading along with us, drop your favorite book so far down in the comments down below. So, before we jump into the content, go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. Hit that little notification bell so you're updated every time we put up a video. And we're going to jump right into books 5 through 8, starting with Devin. So Devin's going to be covering book 5 of the Iliad. So kind of tell us about your creative process and kind of your mindset going into it.
Okay, let me just pull all this up, the technical stuff first.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, you guys can see this?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go this one. Okay. You guys can see this, right?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. All right, so what I did to get the image to be consistent, I really wanted the whole slide to look like this with like the dark pencil sketching. However, AI animate or creation start to like hallucinate and start to like veer off, and you always have to like recalibrate it. So I kind of just got exhausted of doing that, but I do like the style. I think I mentioned it in our previous recording that I love this red on like black and white style. I think it just speaks to like just the artist's take I want to pull. I want to ask you guys real fast. If I switch tabs, can you guys see me switching tabs or no?
No.
Okay, sweet. All right, that's the point. I want to be like that. Okay, so this book is quite hefty. So if you guys remember book 5, definitely chime in at any point. I wonder if I'm just gonna leave it in this context because I need to actually let me see. If I full screen.
Yeah, book 5 was a beast.
It was. Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna just stay in this context and just have it like this so I can keep my tabs open because I'm only on one monitor. Okay. All right. Let me pull my notes up. If anything, I'll cut in where we need to cut. So
nice.
how many? Can you guys still see that, or is it like chopped?
It's full screen rather than widescreen now.
Oh, really?
We could see.
Okay, sweet. All right. So, gonna get straight into it. There you guys go. All right. Book 5 of Homer, Iliad, marks the start of Aristia of Diomedes. I want to call him Diamond, but I don't think that's how you pronounce it, but it's Diomedes.
Diomed.
Yeah, Diomed, a literary term for a hero's finest moment of the day of glory on the battlefield. Minerva selects Diomed and fills him with supernatural valor. Fire erupts from his armor, making him as the focal point of the war. This image establishes the shift from human combat to divine intervention. To signify his divine empowerment, Minerva makes a stream of fire flare from Diomed's shield and helmet. This fire is compared to a brilliant summer star, often interpreted as Sirius, the dog star, that shines brightest after bathing in the ocean. The aura makes him terrifying and radiant figure on the battlefield. As Diamond charges into the hurly-burly of the fight, he is met by 2 Trojans, Pegasus and Aegeus. They are the sons of Dares, a wealthy priest of the god of Vulcan. They approach him in a chariot while Diomed remains on foot. Pegasus attacks first, but his spears flies harmlessly over Diamond's left shoulder. Diomed retaliates. His spear strikes Pegasus squarely on the chest near the nipple, knocking him dead from the chariot. Aegeus, seeing his brother fall, does not dare to defend the body. He jumps from the chariot to flee. He would have died too, but the god Vulcan intervened to save him. Vulcan wraps Aegeus in a cloud of darkness to whisk him away. Vulcan did this to spare their old father from being utterly overwhelmed with grief by not losing both their sons at once. Diomed's soldiers capture the horses from the empty chariot and drive them back to the Greek ships. Seeing one leader dead and the other magically vanish, the Trojans panic. The goddess Minerva Minerva decides to clear the field of divine interference to let the Greeks win. She takes Mars, the god of war, by the hand. She addresses him with famous epithets: Mars, bane of men, bloodstained stormer of cities. She persuades him to leave the battlefield, suggesting they let the Trojans and the Greeks fight it out, and to see who Jove favors, so they can avoid Jove's anger. Mars agrees, and Minerva seats him on the steep banks of the river Scamander, removing his influence from the fight. With Mars gone, the Greeks surge forward, and the Trojan line breaks. Each Greek chieftain claims a kill. King Agamemnon kills Odius, captain of the Alizani, as Odius turns to flee. Agamemnon spears him in the back. Between the shoulders, the spearhead drives all the way through the chest. He falls with his armor rattling. Diomedes spears Phasius. He is hit in the right shoulder. Just as he's mounting his chariot, the darkness of death enshrouds him, and he falls. Immediate squire strips his armor. Menelaus kills Scamandrius, son of Trophius. These names are wild, I'm sorry. Scamandrius, son of Strophius, he was a famous huntsman taught by the goddess Diana herself to kill every wild creature in the forest. As Scamandrius flees, Menelaus strikes him in the back with a spear. The weapon pierces between his shoulders and exits through his chest. He falls face first, his armor rattling around him. What happened? Can you guys hear me? It sounded like I disconnected. Okay. Okay. Where was I? I lost my position. 2 inch. Okay. Exit through his chest as he falls his face first, his armor rattling around him. Hercules, son of Tecton, he was a master craftsman loved by Minerva. These names. Hercules was the builder of the ships that Alexandrus used to sell to Sparta and abduct Halion. The text, actually that's notes, the beginning of all mischief that brought evil to both Troy and Paris, noting that Hercules did not know the decrees of heaven. Meriones chases him down and spears him in the right buttock. The spear travels through the bone and into the bladder. Hercules falls to his knees, crying out in agony, and dies. Megian kills, and so a lot of these are just killings as they're moving through the war. So a lot of this is just killing. Padius, a bastard son of the Trojan elder Antenor, despite being illegitimate, he was raised by Antenor's wife. Theano, with the same love she gave her own children purely to please her husband. Megius gets close and drives a spear into the nape of Padius's neck. The spear passes under his tongue and cuts through the teeth. He falls into dust, biting the cold bronze on the spearhead in his final moment. Apsenor, son of Dolopanyan, he was the priest of the river god Scamander, and was honored by the local people like a god. Eurypylus chases him and strikes him with the sword. The blow completely loops Hepsenor's strong arm, which falls to the ground bloody. Shades of death and faith cover his eyes. The battle is raging furiously, but Diomedes is moving fast, fighting so intensely that you cannot tell which army he belongs to. Diomedes' unstoppable dominance to a moment of vulnerability. And finally, to his divine re-empowerment, he is compared to a river and a full flood that has burst into its barriers, swollen by rain from heaven. However, his rampage is interrupted when the son of Chion spots him scouring the plain. Pandarus aims an arrow and strikes Diomed as he rushes forward. The arrow hits the front of his cuirass near the shoulder, punching through the metal and piercing the flesh until the armor is covered with blood. Seeing the blood, Pandarus shouts in premature triumph that to the knights Trojans, urging them into attack. He boasts that the bravest of the Archaeans has been fatally wounded and will not survive long, believing that King Apollo himself guided the shot. But the arrow does not kill Diomed. The arrow withdraws from the front line of his chariot and horses, where his squire Sthenelus is waiting. Diomed commands Sthenelus to draw the arrow out of his shoulder, leaps down and extracts the weapon, causing the blood to spout through the hole of Damien's tunic. Injured and bleeding, Diomed offers a prayer to Minerva, invoking the bond she shared with his father Tydeus. He asks her to grant him one wish, to come with the spear throw of the man who wounded him, and now boasting that Diomed will never see the sun again. Pallas Minerva hears his prayer. Immediately she heals his fatigue, making his hands and feet supple and quick. She then approaches him, telling him not to fear the Trojans, and breathes the fearless spirit of his knightly father Tydeus into his heart, withdrawing the veil from his eyes, granting him the supernatural ability to see the divine. She explains that she has lifted the veil from Diomed's eyes, granting him the power to distinguish between gods and men. However, she issues a strict command. He must not fight any god who enters the battle, with one exception. If Jove's daughter, Venus, appears, Diomed is explicitly ordered to strike her with his sword and wound her. Her orders are given and Minerva departs. Diomed returns to the front lines, 3 times fiercer than before. Homer compares him to a lion wounded by a shepherd while jumping a sheep yard wall. The wound doesn't kill the beast, it only rouses it pure fury. The terrified shepherd abandons his flock, leaving the sheep to the smothered, one on top of the other, as the lion leaps back on triumphant, just like the furious beast. He begins a ruthless killing spree, dispatching Trojan warriors in pairs. First, he targets Ascanius Hyperion. He hits Ascanius with a spear thrust above the nipple, turning Hyperion. He strikes him with the sword on the collarbone, a blow so powerful it severes the shoulder from his neck and back. Next, he pursues Abius and Polydius, the son of Eurydamas, an old interpreter of dreams. The text notes, sorry about that, that was my notes. Their father never interpreted the dreams that would never predicted this end. Diomed and Zeus, they never return home. He then chases down Xanthus and Thune, the 2 sons of Phaenops. This kill brings a tragedy of inheritance. Phaenops was worn out with age and had no other sons. By killing these 2, Diomed leaves the father to sorrow bitterly, ensuring his wealth will be divided amongst distant kinsmen rather than his own line. Finally, Diomed encounters Echemion and Chromius, 2 sons of King Priam, riding in the same chariot, attacking them like a lion, fastening onto the neck of the heifer. He flings them both from their vehicle, strips their armor, and gives their horses to the comrades to take back their ships. Amidst a rain of spears, Aeneas hunts down the master archer Pandarus, urging him to pray down to Jove and shoot the warrior, decimating their ranks, whom Aeneas fears might be an angry god punishing them for neglecting sacrifices. Pandarus identifies the attacker as Diomed by his shield and horses, but admits that a god must indeed be protecting him. He explains that he has already shot Diomed through the shoulder with an arrow, and that should have been fatal. Yet the hero lives, implying a divine guardian shrouded in a cloud of darkness deflected to death. Frustrated by his failure, Pandarus laminates his decision to fight on foot. He reveals that he left 11 magnificent chariots at home in Lycia. Ignoring his father's advice to take them, he made the choice for a practical reason. He feared his horses would starve in the beside city of Troy. Now standing hopeless with a bow that cannot kill, he bitterly regrets leaving his steeds behind. Although his arrows drew blood from the two chieftains, Malleus and Diomed, they served only to enrage. I think I duplicated this on accident. They served only to enrage them rather than kill. Frustrated, he swears a violent oath that if he ever returns home to his wife, he will let someone cut off his head if he fails to snap his useless bow in half and cast it into the fire. Aeneas interprets the complaint with a plan. They must join forces in his chariot to face Diomed. He boasts on his horses, descends from the breed of the legendary king Tros, assuring Pandarus that even if they lose, these steeds are fast enough to carry them safely back to the city. The two heroes then settle their tactical roles, and Aeneas offers the reins to Pandarus, but the archer declined, reasoning that the horses will perform better for their own master. He fears that if they force to flee, the forces might panic without Aeneas' voice, leaving them vulnerable. Consequently, they agree that Aeneas, I keep these fucking names up. Aeneas will drive while Pandarus wields the spear. As the Trojan chariot charges full speed towards them, Diomed's squire, Sthenelus, spots the threat, identifying the attackers as skillful Pandarus and Irenaeus. A terrified Sthenelus begs Diomed to retreat rather than face such men of might. Diomed, however, looks at him angrily and immediately shouts down the suggestion. Asserting his code of honor, he declares that he comes from a bloodline that knows neither fear nor how to skulk in battle, refusing to give ground. Diomed refuses to retreat, telling his squire Sthenelus that Minerva has forbidden him to fear any man. He issues a specific command: if he succeeds in killing both Pandarus and Aeneas, Sthenelus must immediately steal their horses. Diomed explains the immense value of these steeds, the finest that live and move under the sun. King Archias had stolen this bloodline by secretly breeding his mares to Laomedon's stallions, and capturing them would secure great glory. As Aeneas and Pandarus drive close, Pandarus addresses Diomed, acknowledging his arrow failed and declining. He will now try with a spear. He throws his weapon, which strikes Diomed's shield and pierces through the breastplate. Believing he's dealt a mortal wound, Pandarus shouts triumphantly that Diomed is hit in the belly and will not last long. Diomed, undismayed, calmly replies, "You have missed, not hit," and promises that one of them will soon satisfy the god of war with their blood. Diomed then hurls his spear, guided by the hand of Minerva. The weapon strikes Pandarus with gruesome precision. It crashes through his nose, and white teeth severes the root of his tongue, and exits beneath his chin. Pandarus falls dead from the chariot, his armor rattling around him. The page concludes, Aeneas springing down, the shield spear in hand, ready to defend the body of the fallen comrade. Aeneas stands over the fallen body. Pandarus, like a lion, shield, spear ready to kill anyone who approaches. Diomed responds with a display of superhuman power. He lifts a massive stone that two men, as they are now, who would struggle to raise. He hurls the rock at Aeneas, striking him on the cut bone, the hip joint. The impact crushes the bone, breaks both sinews, and tears the flesh, causing Aeneas to fall to his knees as the darkness of night covers his eyes. Aeneas would have perished instantly, but his mother Venus spots him. She intervenes, immediately throwing her white arms around her son, covering him with the fold of her garment to shield him from the Greek spears. While the goddess attempts to carry an Aeneas to safety, Diomed's squire Stanthelius execute his orders. He steals the divine horses from the Trojan chariot and entrusts them to his comrade Aesculapius to take back to the ships. Diomed, however, ignores the prize to hunt the goddess. Knowing Venus is freebie and not a warrior deity like Minerva, he chases her down and prepares to strike. The Diomed's spear tears through Venus's ambrosial robe and pierces her hand near the wrist. Instead of blood, ichor flows from the wound. Screaming in pain, Venus drops her son, Aeneas. Phoebus Apollo catches Aeneas before he hits the ground. Apollo immediately hides Aeneas in a cloud of darkness to prevent the Greeks from seeing him and finishing him off with a spear to the chest. Diomedes shouts, after fleeing the goddess, mocking her as the daughter of Jove. He tells her to be content with beguiling silly woman, and warns that if she meddles in battle again, she will learn to shudder at the very name of war. Iris leads the dazed and suffering Venus out of the battle. They find the word of war god Mars sitting on the sidelines. Venus falls to her knees and begs for his gold bezend chariot to escape to Olympus. She tells Mars she was wounded by Diomed, claiming the mortal is now so furious he would fight Father Jove himself. Mars lends the chariot, and Iris drives the heartbroken goddess to the dwelling of the gods. Upon arrival, Eris tends to the horses while Venus flings herself into the lap of her mother Dione, who embraces her and demands to know who harmed her. Venus identifies proud Diomed as he attacks her as her attacker. She explains she was wounded while rescuing her son, whom she loves above all others. She warns that the war was fundamentally changed. Gods suffer too. Dione confronts her daughter to recounting 3 famous instances where mortals harmed gods. The giants Otis and Influence trapped the war god in bronze vessel for 13 months. He nearly perished but was rescued by Mercury just in time. Hercules shot the queen of the gods in the right breast with the 3-barred arrow, causing unexcusable pain. Hercules also shot the god of underworld in the shoulder at the gates of hell. Hades retreated to Olympus in anguish, where the divine healer Paeon cured him with herbs. Dione condemns Diomed as a fool, stating that the universal law that no man who fights with gods will live long. She predicts he will not survive the war to hear his children prattling about his knees. She specifically mentions Diomede's wife, Arigelia, warning that she will soon wake her whole house wailing for the loss of her husband. Dione wipes the ichor from Venus's wrist, both hands instantly removing the pain, healing the wound. Minerva taunts Jove, suggesting Venus wasn't actually fighting, but scathed their hand on a woman's gold pin while trying to caress an Achaean woman into running away. Zeus smiles and sets boundaries for Venus, telling her that fighting has not been given to her. He instructs her to focus on delightful matrimonial duties and leave the war to Mars and Minerva. Diomed attacks Aeneas 3 times, even though the hero is being protected in the very arms of Apollo. 3 times, Apollo physically beats back Diomed's shield. On the 4th godlike attempt, Apollo shouts in awful voice. Apollo commands Diomed to draw off, and remember that men who walk this earth
Where I lost this spot.
rejection 3 times. off. And remember that men who walk the earth could never equal the immortals. Diomed finally retreats a little space to avoid the god's wrath. Apollo transports the real Aeneas to his temple in Pergamus, where the goddess Latona and Diana heal him. To keep the battle raging, Apollo creates a wrath that looks and is armed exactly like Aeneas. The armies continue to hack at each other over this fake body. Apollo asks Mars to enter the fight and drive Diomed away, describing the mortal as a madman who would now fight even Father Jove. After Apollo complains about Diomed's arrogance, he takes a seat on the citadel of Pergamus to watch. The war god Mars enters the ranks, disguised as Achaeus. He shames the son of Param for allowing their people to be slaughtered and falsely announces that Aeneas has fallen to spur them into action. The Lycian ally, Sarpedon, delivers a stinging rebuke to Hector. He mocks Hector's past, boasts that he could defend the city alone with just his brothers. Sarpedon points out the irony. The allies are doing the fighting, while Hector's kinsmen cower like hounds before a lion. He warns Hector that if this passivity continues, they will be caught in the meshes of a net and their city will be sacked. Stung by the truth of Sapion's words, Hector does not get angry. Instead, he immediately leaps from his chariot, fully armored. Brandishing two spears, Hector rallies the army with a terrible cry of battle. The Trojans turn to face the Greeks, who stand compact and firm without breaking ranks. Just as wind blows chaff into heaps, the soldiers are turned white by the dust kicked up by horse hooves. The dust cloud raises to the firmament of heaven, signaling the ferocity of the renewed conflict, fulfilling Apollo's orders. Mars moves against Trojans, covered in a veil of darkness, to arouse the spirits, taking advantage of Minerva's absence. Apollo sends Aeneas back into the fight from his sanctuary. He returns fully healed and filled with valor. His comrades are overjoyed to see him alive, but ask no questions. Led by Ulysses, Diomed, and Ajax, the Greeks do not fear the Trojan fury. They stand completely motionless. They are compared to clouds resting on the mountaintops on a calm day when Jove has stilled the winds. They remain immovable, just as clouds do when the fierce north wind is asleep. Agamemnon urges his men to shun dishonor, arguing that the men who stand and fight more likely to survive than those who flee. He hurls a spear at Dion, a brave comrade of Aeneas, who was honored by the Trojans as if he were a son of Priam. The spear drives straight through Dion's shield. Okay, so this is where I slow down I don't add slides to the rest of my I think there's like 4 slides that should be images here.
I think it's all good, dude. Yeah.
All right, let's do some feedback. I like the idea of doing a shit sandwich. I don't know if you guys have heard that.
Let me
Like
fix this.
something he did well, something he can improve upon, and then something he did well. So I'll start kind of as a reference. I think the artwork is amazing, dude. It paints a picture of how hellish it is. Like everything's so red, it looks like it's on fire. Like there's parts that are actually on fire. But there's parts in there, like it really portrays the image of how brutal and hellish war can be. So I do really like the artwork. The length of the presentation was a little long. It was about 15 minutes, 15 to 17 minutes in total length. We're shooting for 3 to 5, but that is totally, that's okay. We're learning as we go. And but outside of that, I do like the way you're going about it, where you're describing what's happening, the detail with the names and how much fighting is happening and who's attacking what. I do like that. I think it's a lot. That was a massive chapter, you know.
That was
Uh, but I like the way you did it. I like the way you're going about describing the scenes and the artwork that you used.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna be with Jay. Like, I think obviously you put in a lot of work to it because like the artwork and stuff flows really well. I just think what we got to do is like we got to remember someone's trying to watch our videos. There's 4 of us. Each one's 5 minutes. That's 20 minutes plus our intro and outro. 22 minutes. Like that right there, 17 minutes. That's a long time. And if you were a viewer, would you stick around for it? It felt like you were just reading the whole chapter, and I think you might have read the whole chapter to me. And like, um, I think you just need to be able to condense that and be like, these are like this is chapter 5 for dummies of the Iliad. Like that's it. And like you can keep the same amount of picture slides you had, and kind of just like as you roll through that, like time, like I need to explain this chapter in 5 minutes, and like timer boom. And like I feel like if you just do that, you're gonna have like a sick one next time because it was really good. It was just super long. That was literally your only con, I think. It felt like being read to. Yeah, which is like if they want to read the book, because like my chapter has a bunch of fucking information too that I'm not gonna talk about. They can come read the book. You know, they're coming like in out. Boom, what happened?
okay. I'm just taking notes. I want to like be sure to like double back on this when I make for. Dude, do you have anything for me?
Oh, one last thing. If we can find out how to make the slides take up the whole screen and not have it in like within the Google Doc screen, it would look better for viewer. Because like the pictures were sick. If you had I don't know how Jay did it. Maybe you can ask him. But it took up the whole screen, and then he talked. And you could play all those things as you talk, even the 5 minutes, and it'll be like literally a home run. And it'll be less work for you too, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't have to read all that. Like make it more comfortable for you. Like it's not comfortable for me to like say all these fucking crazy words too. So like it'd be easier if you make it in the 5 minutes. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I believe Devin only has one monitor as well.
Yeah. Is that what she did?
True. So just that's the issue. Well, shit, you can just pull up and have the notes on your phone. You know what I'm saying? And then just like mute yourself. We don't have to see your face. You know,
Yeah. I'm shouting that.
like that's an easy fix.
Mm. Yeah, I thought it was long, and like I think the next one I'm due is when I have it finished, I'm gonna present it and like condense everything that doesn't need to be in it, as much as possible.
Yeah, my feedback, I think the artwork was super sick. I love there's like this kind of like realism going on, and then there's ones that feel more comic book style. I think the comic book style felt more engaging to me, like contrasty, and I don't know, I just like that style. Made it like really entertaining. We already talked about the length. Yeah, just condense it down. And then what I've been doing, this might help too, is like mine's about like 12 slides. So I'm using ChatGPT to I'm literally giving it the text, like reread this. I'm telling ChatGPT like read this. He ends it to 12 C's, right? And we'll break it down like really kind of like easier that way. But yours is by default longer. Like it was super long. So
Like I think like lots of it was word for word from the book. It's like, dude, like it literally took me fucking 17 minutes to read that book. You know, it's so that book felt like that book
this Steeler had more names. I remember it was like boom, 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 and all that.
tons of stuff. But like just like one of the things for the next time, you can zoom in on one particular thing and give it a lot of information. Like when you had that slide with the guy being poked through the mouth, without the context, I would have thought chat just made that because, but when you actually talked about that particular slide, I go, oh, I remember that. That really was like very graphic. So like I think there's spots where like you can zoom in and like give a word for word thing because like it helps give that slide way more meaning to me. I like, oh, that's way cool. Like I can tell like a lot of work I put into it, you know, but you get lost when it's so long, you know?
Yeah.
Hop the fucking sail that stuff. Like I know it is. Like you get to talk for 15 minutes. That's tough, bro.
Yeah, I think I recognized like the length was like long. I just didn't know like, especially with fucking up the first time with like the not reading the correct book. I wanted to make sure that the story that I had, the book I had, was told all the way through.
For sure.
Not like so. But knowing that now for our next book, I feel like I don't know, it's gonna be sharper for sure.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Okay.
You got it, bro. Literally, it's all right there.
This shit's gonna be so fine tuned by the time we get to Odyssey. That's what we're doing this for.
Yeah.
So nice. All right. I will go ahead and load up mine. Give me 1 second here. Come on. Let me know when you guys can see that on your screen.
All right, let me take a look at something.
Can't see it.
Someone's having. Yep. All right. Yeah. Here we go.
All right. If I switch slides, can you see what's going on here?
Damn, I need that logo, and I should put that in every one of my slides too. Can someone? I just need to pull that for me. Can someone email it?
Drive.
It's in the drive. Okay, I'm fucking out. I need to have that on my slides. That looks so good, Jay. I love how that's logo's in there.
So you guys can see everything there.
Yeah. I'm gonna mute myself, okay? And then I'm gonna let you do your thing.
Okay. So my intention with this week's episode was to kind of lengthen my presentation. Last time I went back and I watched some film, it was about 2 minutes ish. I wanted to kind of push it out to like 4 to 5 minutes. So I have a few more slides. And I went with a little bit of a different art style. The art style I went with this week was Romanticism style. And I think it does a great way of portraying, kind of the various details I wanted to put out into my presentation. So I went with that Romanticism style and kind of a little bit longer presentation. Again, this week I used GPT to generate images to use for my presentation, and so that's kind of the artwork you're going to be seeing here. So this is book 6 of the Iliad. And we're opening up here with a scene, leaving off where Devon left off with just brutal war happening between the Achaeans and the Trojans. So scene 1 starts with the fighting rages on across the plain of Troy. With Achilles absent, other warriors rise to prominence, such as Diomedes, and the battle surges back and forth with brutal intensity. The Achaeans and the Trojans clash without restraint, driven by momentum rather than strategy. In the heat of battle, Menelaus took the Trojan soldier Adrestus alive. At the moment Menelaus was going to kill him, Adrestus pleaded out to Menelaus, "Spare me, and my father will pay you a handsome ransom for my return." Menelaus thought about it for a moment, but Agamemnon, observing the exchange, realigned Menelaus. "Don't spare a single one." Menelaus then thrust Adrestus away from him, and Agamemnon killed him by thrusting his spear into his flank. In the midst of the chaos, the Trojan seer Henelus recognizes that brute force alone will not save the city. He urges Hector and Aeneas to rally their troops, and once completed, for Hector to withdraw briefly from the fighting and return to Troy. There, Hector is to instruct Queen Hecuba to pray to Athena, offering the goddess her best robe and the sacrifice of 12 yearling heifers if she takes pity on the town and keeps Diomed from falling on the city of Troy. Hector and Aeneas did exactly as Helenus instructed. They rallied their troops, and the Trojan army, reinvigorated, faced the Achaean army again. This strategy and motivation proved to be temporarily successful as the Achaeans gave ground and ceased their murderous onslaught. At that time, Hector left the battlefield and entered the city of Troy. Meanwhile, the Achaean and Trojan armies were at a standstill when Diomed and Glaucus, a Trojan soldier, entered the open space between the two armies to fight in single combat. Diomed questioned Glaucus to ensure that he wasn't a god or derived from one. Glaucus then shared his long-winded lineage with Diomed. It turned out that Glaucus's grandfather, Bellerophon, was a great friend of Diomed's father, Tydeus. In a friendly manner, Diomed told Glaucus that they should host one another when they visit each other's towns. Diomed said, "We'll exchange armor that all present may know of the old ties that subsist between us." Both men sprang from the chariots, shook hands, and plighted friendship. At this point, we change into what's happening in the city of Troy with Hector. Upon entering the gates of the city, there was a palpable fear and anxiety. Fearful wives and daughters came running toward Hector to ask about their sons, brothers, kinsmen, and husbands. Hector told them to start praying to the gods, and the women were made sorrowful as they heard him. When Hector arrived at the palace of King Priam, his mother, Queen Hecuba, met him. Hector relayed the message: "Get the matrons together and go with offerings to the temple of Athena. There, lay the largest and fairest robe you have and promise to sacrifice 12 yearling heifers that have never felt the goad, if the goddess will take pity on the town and keep Diomed from offing our goodly city." Queen Hecuba immediately sprung into action. She gathered the most beautiful robe she owned, enriched with embroidery, glittering like a star, and went her way with many matrons in tow. When the women arrived at the temple, they lifted their hands to the goddess with a loud cry, laid the robe upon the knees of Athena, and prayed to the goddess. "Holy Athena, protectress of our city, mighty goddess, break the spear of Diomed and lay him low before the Trojan gates." But Athena did not grant their prayers. While the women were doing as they were instructed by Hector, he went to the house of Paris. Upon his arrival, Hector witnessed Paris busied about his armor. Hector rebuked Paris, telling him, "While you busy yourself with your armor, people are dying around the city. Join the battle or the city will burn." Paris, in an attempt to assure Hector, responded, "Wait for me to put on my armor or go before me and I will overtake you." Hector obliged and left the house of Paris in search of his wife, Andromache. As he approached the gates of Troy, his wife ran out toward him with a nurse carrying their son, Scamandrius. Andromache was terrified, not only for Hector's life, but for the future of Troy itself. She pleaded with him to stay within the walls. "Dearest husband, your valor will bring you to destruction. Think of your infant son, and on my hapless self, who shall be your widow, for the Achaeans will set upon you in a body and kill you. It would be better for me should I lose you to lie dead and buried, for I shall have nothing left to comfort me when you are gone, save only sorrow." Hector listens and understands her fear completely. He admits that he knows Troy will fall, that Andromache will be taken captive, and that their son will likely die. Yet he cannot bring himself to act differently. His identity as a warrior, his obligation to the city, and his fear of shame bind him more tightly than any chain. He tells Andromache that he would feel unbearable disgrace if he avoided the fight. To him, honor is inseparable from action, even when the outcome is tragic. Hector held his son one more time, prayed over him, caressed his wife lovingly, and prepared to rejoin the battle. In a tragic but beautiful scene, Hector prays that his son will grow stronger than he is, that he will one day be praised as a great warrior. These words echo with painful irony, given the fate awaiting Troy. With that, Hector leaves her behind and returns to the battlefield. Here, Paris, his brother, caught up to his brother, Hector. The two brothers briefly converse and ride back into combat together. The book ends not with resolution, but with inevitability. The fighting resumes, unchanged. The brief glimpse of family, love, and domestic life fades beneath the flames of war. The end.
I think that was good, dude. I think the imagery is a good style. It looks like realistic enough, but not, that like grabs my attention. Yeah, it makes me think like, should I put more information in mine or not? I don't know. How long was yours? Did you time it out before you presented it to us? I feel like you would.
So it's about 6 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like good. I feel like just us talking, I feel like it was good, dude. I think it's perfect amount, I feel like we could trim some just because like if they want all of it, they could fucking read the book. But I like listening to it with your presentation, I thought it was good. Yeah. Good templates for all of us to follow, bro. Sometimes I'm like, we'll see. I'm taking different stabs at stuff, but like I was like, maybe we should all just make them like that. That was a really good one,
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, my favorite part, like I like how you structure, like you have an intro and an outro. That's like the biggest part I struggled with this one. I didn't know how to like start it, and I also didn't know how to end it. So even if I got to the very end, I wouldn't have know how to like close it out.
Dude, low key, just like you need to lean on chat more. For like literally just that exact question, ask it, and like it will give a answer. It doesn't mean it's got to be the best one, but it gives you a starting point on how, like where, oh, okay, I could do this, I could do that. It's like make it more like this, make it more like that, like because like that right there, like you already have the problem. You just gotta now like there, yeah, just be leaning, yeah.
Is I like to build in on my title slide an establishing shot.
Yeah.
The establishing shot what I do is I tend to make it an overview. So it tends to be like a big picture shot. So it's got like the war happening, the city in the background, the ships in the sea, kind of some like overview establishing shot. Here's what we just talked about with Devin. Here's what we're pivoting into. And then I jump into my slide. And then with the outro, I like to end with just kind of an overarching idea, like, it didn't end, it ended with an inevitability while his wife Andromache watched him head off into war. And then here's kind of where we lead off. So it's like a nice baton pass to David,
Yeah. I see that. Yeah, that was good, dude.
Yeah, dude. Not really much else to say. He killed it. I like the length. I like the art style. Yeah.
All right, sounds good. We'll go ahead and jump into book 7 with David. So go ahead and get that all set up. Cool. And when you're ready, feel free to start.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab water real quick.
Okay. All right, big dog. I see you, dog.
I see you, dog.
Yeah, I'll tell you something funny that before we get started on everything, I was telling Amanda this story about all of us were doing that one backpacking trip, and you were like, dude, like, why do you keep barking at me? I was like, dude, because that fucking dog in you, bro. I was like, you gotta be big dog now.
Yeah, that's like, I swear we made that joke before it became popular, and we tend to slot.
I swear, like, I'm always ahead of my time, dude. I'm telling you, like, I've been saying this, people.
It was a whiskey balls. Something like you did something, and then you're like, sorry, there's just a dog in me.
And then literally it became like, yeah, I don't know, it's funny.
Oh, man. But yeah, okay. I think how like we're like learning about our previous presentation. The last like towards the end of the book is gonna be crazy. I think we're gonna have such a solid flow.
I think so too. Like, I'm excited to hear what you guys think after we're all done. I'm like, okay, right now, what do we think is the best way to aim? Like for people watching, like that's one thing I'm trying to think about too. Is this been so far? We're just waiting for Dev, right?
Yeah, we're just waiting for that. All right. I'll let you roll. Tired, everyone? So we're going to hop into book 7 of the Iliad. So before I get started, if anybody's played the game God of War, that's what I started this art style on. I was thinking about it, and I just remember growing up playing that game and how sick it was, seeing all the Greek gods and all that. So I went for a kind of like Romanticism video game illustration style of God of War. So where book 7 begins. Book 7 begins immediately after Hector and Paris return from Troy to the battlefield. Their appearance is welcomed by the Trojans, who are worn down by constant fighting. The war has reached a moment of exhaustion rather than resolution. The return of these two leaders briefly restores Trojan confidence. Next one, Trojan momentum. Hector and Paris lead a renewed Trojan assault. Paris kills Menestheus, and Hector strikes down Diomedes with a spear. Other Trojan allies also kill Greek warriors. The Greeks begin to suffer heavy losses, and the balance of the battle shifts. Divine attention. Athena sees the Greeks being overwhelmed and rushes down from Olympus. Apollo meets her and argues that the fighting should pause for the day. Neither god wants to end the war yet, only to slow it. Apollo proposes a duel as a controlled way to stop the battle. The gods' plan reaches Hector. Athena sends the plan to Helenus, a Trojan seer. Helenus understands the will of the gods and advises Hector to challenge the Greeks to single combat. Hector listens and orders both armies to sit down. The battlefield becomes still under divine direction. Hector's challenge. Hector steps forward and formally challenges the Achaeans to choose one champion. He promises fair terms and proper burial for the fallen. His speech focuses on honor, reputation, and remembrance after death. The challenge places moral pressure on the Greek leaders. Greek silence and shame. Hector steps forward and formally challenges the Achaeans to choose one champion. Oh, look. This is the exact same paragraph. I think I did that on accident. Ew. Okay, so let's see if I can just remember on the spot what happened. So Hector remembers after that the challenge places moral pressure on Greek leaders. So the Greek dude, fuck down my notes. I'm just gonna keep going. Does anybody remember what happens right here?
Yeah, so he challenges the Achaeans and basically puts pressure on them to choose a fighter. Menelaus stands up in kind of like as tribute, and Agamemnon's like, "Yo, quit playing. He's gonna whoop your ass." And so all the best of the Achaeans put their lot into a helmet. They shake it up, shoot one out, and Ajax,
Right.
his loss. Yep.
We'll keep going. Okay, so Nestor pushes the Greeks forward. Nestor criticizes the Greek leaders for their fear and hesitation. He recalls past battles and heroic standards to remind them of their shared values. His speech reframes the duel as a matter of honor rather than recklessness. Ajax is chosen. This is where you were talking about. 9 Greek heroes offer themselves, and lots are cast to choose fairly. The lot falls to Ajax, the strongest of the Greeks. Ajax accepts confidently and prepares for battle. Even Hector feels the weight of Ajax's presence, but does not retreat. Duel of equals. Ajax and Hector meet between the armies and fight fiercely. Spears strike shields, stones are hurled, and both men are wounded. Each attack is matched by an equal counterattack. The duel proves their strength is evenly balanced. Duel ends without a victor. As night falls, heralds from both sides intervene, and heralds are like divine messengers between each armies. The gods do not allow the duel to continue after dark. Hector and Ajax agree to stop and exchange gifts as a sign of respect. They part as equals, not enemies. Burial, walls, and divine anger. Both armies return to their camps and share meals, mirroring one another. In Troy, Antenor suggests returning to Helen, but Paris refuses and offers treasure instead. The Greeks reject the offer, but agree to a truce so both sides can bury their dead. During this pause, the Greeks also build a wall and transfer around their ships. Watching this, Poseidon becomes angry that the wall was built without honoring the gods, but Zeus assures them it can be destroyed once the Greeks leave. I believe this is the first time Poseidon comes into the play too. But yeah, he was basically upset that they didn't sacrifice or do some sort of ritual before building this wall. So book 7's key ideas. In book 7, Homer emphasizes honor, shame, and balance rather than victory. The duel counsels, shares meals, and burial rites mirror each other on both sides, showing that enemies are bound by the same values. Burial of the dead reflects the deep human cost of war and the need for dignity even amid violence. The gods guide events but do not stop the war, reminding us that human effort is fragile before divine power. This book sets the foundation for later moments of compassion, especially when enemies recognize shared humanity. And that is the end of book 7.
Nice, dude. I mean, this is great. The artwork is amazing. I love it. The like vignette that's on every single picture, really dramatic, like makes it really dramatic, and I love that. The addition of the key ideas key ideas slide, I think that's so good. I like that a lot. And yeah, I mean, I don't really have too many notes for you. I think it's really, really good. Yeah, that's kind of what I got for you.
I think it's good, dude. I think the visuals are really good. My critique would be that because this is just similar to Jay's. I think that if you just take what's on your slide right now and put it into a note section and just have this just the picture, it would just look better. But keep the pattern up for me. That. I think I've that's my only critique. Jay, you made me think when you were retelling the thing, how that one guy when he stood up, King Agamemnon was like, "Sit down. Even Achilles would worry about fighting Hector. You, a mere squire, sit down." He's like, "Maybe Ajax, the strongest next to Achilles." It's just you telling that. What a good retelling, real quick, by the way, too, bro. You jogged the whole chapter in my head. Yeah. I think it was good, David. Like I said, maybe just take the words off, but at the end of the day, we're all just fucking trying something.
In grad school, I was taught to just minimize text on a slide. What you had here was very minimal, so I think it's great.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
And but also maybe keep the words on because someone who's watching it, they can look and read along too. So I don't know. This is something for us to talk about what's better, you know? Yeah. Because maybe it is good to keep the words on because you can pause and be, oh shit, that's good. I don't know, you know?
Yeah, and I'm in my head, I'm thinking about this as a slideshow that I can give to someone a PDF. I'm just real used to that.
Exactly. So yeah. It's actually that is perfect. That's a perfect yeah.
Quick stanza in and out.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think it was good, bro.
Cool. Thanks.
Oh yeah, dude. So what'd you decide to do differently this time?
For mine?
Yeah, changing from last time.
So I didn't really like the chibi kind of Castle Crashers look. I think that the God of War kind of artwork gave it more emotion, made it feel more dramatic, and is more true to the actual story. So that was one. And then 2, this time, instead of oversimplifying, I gave it actually a little bit more detail. And my process with ChatGPT was, well, I read the book a few times, and then I found the actual whole transcript of the book, and then I told Chat to this is the book. I have 12 slides. I want to fit it in 12. Summarize the main points, and then I would reread the points and be like, okay, is the reader going to kind of match those two, even though chat is saying these are the same points? Like, does that kind of line up with what I want to say, and what I think is necessary to keep it going? So I did that. And then to make it a little bit easier on the image generation process, I told chat, after I had an outline that I felt was like super solid for each slide, I said, take every slide, give me a prompt that I can then feed the image generator based on what's visually just on each slide's like text. And so all I did was like take each prompt for each slide and jot it in, and then it gave me a more accurate. Like I had maybe like one revision instead of like 20 from the last time. It was just like, okay, for this scene, yeah, get this across, make this image, and it tied well with the text and the titles and stuff.
Nice, dude. Hell yeah. Sweet. All right. Anything else to add before we move on to book 8 with John?
Let's go.
Nope.
All
All
so
right.
let's pull it up, right, John?
Yeah, I got it this time.
All right.
Oh, you got okay. Go for it.
Yeah, walk us through your creative process and
Let me do the screen share. Yeah, so how come I can't do entire screen? Okay. If I just do a window?
yeah, on the top when you hit share, there's a window option on the top.
Okay, I'll do that. I'll do that. Okay. Can you guys see that?
Not yet. And do you hit share at the bottom?
Huh. Okay. Here we go.
Do you guys see for settings?
See your settings.
Okay. Let me do this on I fucked up. Okay, boom.
You better go get some beer, go get some water and come back.
How about this? Can you guys see that?
Make sure you hit share button. We don't see anything yet.
I did.
Okay, let's go. Now hit present when you're ready on that blue button. Shed it.
Is it full screen for you guys right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So, pretty much, I use chat to kind of, help summarize key takeaways for book 8. Then I wanted it in about 12 to 16 slides. I said I kind of wanted it about like 5 minutes long, me reading it. So it kind of gave me like a storyboard for like all the slides of all the information. And then later I would plug that in for like key visuals for my images. Amanda suggested this thing called Prezi, which is a way to make presentations. So this is a more interactive one. I was thinking about when I'm making this is like, I'm turning this into like literally a class. So, it's a completely different take than how we've been doing it. And then we can talk about what you guys think of it. Okay. So I'll go ahead and go for it.
Okay.
Well, so the Iliad, book 8, Zeus takes control, exploring the pivotal moments when Zeus asserts control over the Trojan War, reshaping fate and divine influence. Okay, so Zeus takes control. In this pivotal chapter, the dynamics of the Trojan War shifts dramatically as Zeus enforces his will upon the gods, creating a new order on the battlefield. The intervention of Zeus signifies a crucial turning point, highlighting the theme that fate, rather than individual bravery, dictates the course of events in this war. So where are we in this story? Jarvis, send me some coordinates to this story. Okay. So we're here. As book 8 begins, the Trojan War is at a critical juncture. Achilles, the mightiest Greek warrior, is not participating, and the divine forces have been manipulating the conflict, leading to unpredictable shifts in momentum. However, this chaotic environment is about to be transformed as Zeus prepares to take decisive control over the battlefield. Zeus asserts authority. Zeus calls an assembly. Zeus gathers all the gods for a crucial assembly, marking a significant shift in the divine dynamics of the war. He asserts his dominance as the chief deity, signaling that his word will govern the ongoing conflict. No divine interference. In a decisive proclamation, Zeus commands that no god shall take action in favor of either the Greeks or the Trojans. This unprecedented decree establishes a new order on the battlefield, shifting the balance of power. So, like, leading up to now, different gods have had different kind of like hands in the pot for who they favor. These guys favor these guys, these guys favor these guys, and it's drawing the whole thing out. So finally, Zeus is putting his foot in. He goes, no more. Consequences for defiance. Zeus warns that any god who defies this order will face severe consequences. His threats underline the gravity of his command and establishes a tone of fear among the other gods, ensuring compliance. Enforcement of absolute order. This moment marks the first time Zeus enforces absolute order over the divine realm. His control signifies a turning point in the Trojan War, altering the trajectory of the conflict and the roles of the gods. Okay, so divine loyalty to the Greeks. Hera and Athena are fierce protectors of the Greeks. Their loyalty and desire to help their favorite side compel them to oppose Zeus's decree. They believe that Zeus's command undermines their divine influence and the chance of Greek victory. Hera and Athena resist. Submission to Zeus's will, despite their strength and resolve, Hera and Athena find themselves unable to act against Zeus's will. The fear of punishment and the recognition of Zeus's unparalleled authority render them silent, showcasing the limits of even the most powerful deities in the face of fate. The scales of fate. In this pivotal moment, Zeus reveals the balance of power in the war. The scales symbolize the stark contrast between the fates of the Greeks and the Trojans, with the sinking Greek side indicating a foreboding shift in destiny, favoring Troy over the Greeks. What the scales mean. In Book 8 of the Iliad, when Zeus puts the fate of the two armies on the golden scales, the side of the Achaeans, the Greeks, sinks down towards the earth, while the sides of the Trojans lift up towards the sky, towards the heavens. In this pivotal moment, Zeus uses the scales to illustrate the immutable nature of fate. His action signifies that no matter the effort of gods or mortals, the outcome of the war is determined by destiny itself, and at this juncture, it clearly favors the Trojans. Battle turns against the Greeks. Immediate shifts in battle dynamics. The fighting resumes with a sudden intensity as the Trojans, invigorated by Zeus's decree, charge forward with determination. The gods' interference is lifted, allowing fate to dictate the course of battle. Trojans surge forward. The Trojans gain confidence, pushing the Greeks back with overwhelming force. Their momentum is fueled by the belief that fate is on their side, leading them to press the attack with renewed vigor. Greeks struggle and retreat. In contrast, the Greek warriors find themselves faltering. The absence of Achilles weighs heavily on them, leading to a loss of morale and a desperate retreat as they struggle to maintain their lines. Decisive momentum shift. The decisive shift in momentum serves as a turning point in the war, showcasing how Zeus's intervention shapes the fate of battle. The Greeks, once confident, now face an uphill struggle. Hector's moment. Okay, so leading up to this, dude, all through the story, Hector's going around like, I think I gotta fucking do this. And everyone's telling him, you're not him, kind of. And every time, this is really his moment. So I love this part of Book 8. Hector's moment. In Book 8, Hector emerges as the pivotal leader of the Trojan forces. With Achilles absent and the scales of fate favoring Troy, Hector's bravery and leadership turns him into a symbol of Trojan resilience and hope. Divine defiance. All right, we know how that feels like. Hera and Athena, incensed by the shifting tides of war favoring Troy, conspire in the shadows to bolster the Greek cause. Their determination to challenge Zeus's decree underlines the tension between divine authority and personal loyalty in the epic. Zeus stops them. As Hera and Athena conspire to intervene in favor of the Greeks, Zeus's vigilance and unwavering, he swiftly dispatches Iris, the messenger of the gods, to deliver a stern warning. Any attempt to defy his command will result in severe consequences. The power of Zeus's authority is unchallenged in this moment, forcing even the mightiest goddess to relent and comply with this decree. Greeks fall back. relentless Trojan assault. The Trojans, fueled by their newfound momentum, launch a relentless assault on the Greek forces, overcoming their defenses with fierce determination. Breach of Greek defenses. The Trojans managed to breach the Greeks' fortifications, breaking through both wall and trenches that had previously held them back. Greeks forced to retreat. With the Trojans pressing forward, the Greeks' forces begin to crumble under the pressure, retreating back towards their ship in disarray. A pivotal moment. This moment marks a pivotal point in the war, as it represents the closest the Trojans come to achieving total victory over the Greeks. Night falls. Darkness halts the fighting before either side can claim victory. Both armies agree to wait until morning, but the pause favors no one equally. The Greeks, battered and shaken, retreat in fear and uncertainty, while the Trojans, on the verge of triumph, are forced to restrain their momentum. The night settles heavy with tension, anticipation, and dread as fate for dawn. So right now, the Greeks at their campsite, it's real dim. The vibe's not good. But over at the Trojan one, they're farming. Trojan campfires. Hector decides to light the campfires. This symbolizes the Trojans' newfound confidence after their victories. The flame flickering across the plain serves as a beacon of strength for the Trojans and a psychological tactic against the Greeks, signaling their readiness for a relentless assault at dawn. So I'm just imagining they're just like, oh, dude, we are ready for tomorrow. Greeks' desperation. With Achilles absent, the Greeks feel the full cost of Agamemnon's prog. Only now does the king realize how fragile their position has become without their greatest champion. As Trojan attack intensifies, Greek confidence collapses, and unity gives way to fear and doubt. Why Book 8 matters. In this pivotal chapter, the narrative shifts from individual heroism and divine meddling to the overarching theme of fate. It challenges the notion that personal valor or divine intervention can alter the course of destiny, illustrating that ultimately it is fate that governs the outcomes of the war. Courage matters, skill matters, but fate decides. In Book 8, Zeus reveals a truth no one, God or human, can escape. All right, that's it, boys.
That was sick, man.
That was good. Liked it.
What we think?
Look with different multi animations, memes, gifs.
I would say, like, at least for my brain, like, that was a lot easier to follow than like, at least like Jay's and David's. Like, I don't know, that one I could easily like just follow. For some reason, that just worked.
That was sick.
But that was probably like the biggest takeaway. Like, I could follow all the way through to the very end.
I really like the different art styles. It kind of feels like how my book is written. I'll have it next to me, but it's not all the same like thing. It's like pulling different artifacts of wall paintings and like just illustrations and Renaissance paintings and stuff kind of vibe. So yeah, good job on the multitude of different. It was just entertaining to see something new every time, you know?
Dude, those are the gift. Like, I'm baking memes in there, like Alex Jones. Like, I knew you guys would love that, bro. Like, at least I liked it, you know? The aura farming, like, I think like when Hector was doing the thing, I was like, dude, like, they're literally just aura farming. Like, do you see us, bro? Like, I don't know, I thought that shit was funny.
I think some of the gifts are a little like choppy on our end, so I could tell that they're moving and everything's like seamless within the presentation. Maybe like the gifts, I don't know. Like the only thing is that they could be like more smooth, but I don't know how you're gonna be able to do that, you know? Like memes that are just photos might work, but overall like super solid and entertaining for sure.
Yeah, and I'm sure in the upload, when we actually post it to YouTube, the GIFs and things like that will be smooth. It tends to render itself out. So I like the inclusion of memes in comedy. It's a good way to like reach to the viewer, and kind of get them to stay included. I like that a lot. Both the memes and the comedy. And then the combination of the different art styles was cool. It's kind of like, oh, you don't like, maybe you're not into romanticism, all right, here's some fucking realism, and then here's some fucking this and that, you know? So like, I did really like that. That was really good. The transitions were awesome. I think you using just the right amount of text on the slides was really good. I didn't really have too many notes. I'm excited to see kind of where you take this moving forward.
All right, well, let me ask, like, okay, that style, like, is that something I should build off of more? You know what I'm saying? Like, what do you guys like the amount of information given too? Because like, okay, like my chapter was really meat and potatoes. Like, there's a lot of stuff, like information about like how the fighting was happened, and like I kind of glossed over all of that, you know? Cause like I'm thinking like it's a fucking ton of talk. Like if they want all that, they can read. So, like, what do you guys think after we've done all of them? Like
One of the things, even when reading some of the comments of like the course hero summaries, is that people are like, thank you for posting this. Like, this gave me so much like insight. It was hard to follow. So if we're making it easier to follow, and to that, like we all just said, it felt easier to follow the information, surely that's the direction that you should go. And just build off of, you know. I liked personally like how you gave context. I was like, how was I was describing this book as like, it's giving so much context, but it's like, I don't need all the context. I just need the context that's giving me story to go along. And I feel like you did that.
okay, cool.
Yeah, I think it plays right into your wheelhouse, John. Like you're a funny guy. I like the inclusion of comedy and memes. I think that if you just kind of personalize like you did with this week, your presentation and kind of your visuals for each reading, I think if you keep building off that, it's only gonna get better. I really like that a lot. The text was just the right amount. The reader can read along while you're saying your slide notes. I think that that's good. Yeah, I would say just keep building off of it, and it's exciting to see where it's gonna go.
Cool. If you guys like that shit, like Prezi's free and like there's AI baked into it. So like it kind of helps you build as you go too. Like a lot of the memes were popping up as I'm building it. Like it'll take your slide and like, but then like also I'm thinking of other memes. Like I wanted to like, so like also you can type into it and then like you can still use chat, you know? So like sometimes like the pictures they gave me, they weren't good. So I use, just if you guys want that shit too, like I thought it was cool that how the slides move differently, you know? But I just didn't know how it's going to translate for like viewers and stuff. We can cut all this too. We're just talking right now.
No, it's good, and we'll reach out to the audience. For you guys that are watching, the viewers, how'd you like it? Is there feedback that you would present on all of our presentations? How can we all improve? We'd love to hear from it. So drop that down in the comment section below. So what'd you learn this week, John? It looks like you learned a brand new tool.
Yeah, I learned how to use Prezi.
So Amanda.
Shout out Amanda. She gave me the idea, you know. I learned about how like she thinks I should have even less stuff on like less words on the slides. So I'm trying to figure that out. But also at the same time, like I listen to the detail you guys give, and that's what I'm trying to find. Like, what is the right balance? You know what I'm saying? Because like there was tons of stuff like about like I talked like in between fighting of the war that totally doesn't show. Like there was a lot of valor, let's say, going on in the war, and then we kind of just glossed over being like Hector was the GOAT. Like, bro, for 4 chapters, everyone's telling Hector that he's not the GOAT, he's not the one, and he's like, dude, I literally am though. And like he gets his moment. He literally is. Achilles not there. Second dog becomes top dog. He wasn't even second dog. He was just a normal-ish guy that was like, I have to do this, huh? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, like with many of our presentations, if you look at the detail in terms of macronutrients, right? You have protein, you have carbs, you have fat. I feel like a lot of our presentations included the protein that was needed, but also threw in the fat and the carbs that kind of added the flavor to the presentation. John, with your way of going about it with the comedy and memes, that's good. That's good carbs to add into the meal. Like that's a good way to progress people along and enjoy without getting taste fatigue, right?
It's just how my brain works. I was like, literally, this is how my brain reading the Iliad. Just means,
The balance of figuring out what your percentages are on like your macronutrients in your presentation. So I do like the way it went. It looks good. I'm excited to see how it progresses.
Cool.
Hell yeah. All right. So did you guys have a favorite part of this week's reading?
Dude, I thought it was crazy when in John's book when Hera and Athena are like, no, we gotta step in and like we can't let Zeus do this. And then Zeus, if you do this, like you're going to like the pits of Hades and Tartarus. And he's like, and then Daisy Hera starts like mouthing off, and then he's like, silence, you are the most annoying vixen. Yes. It's like that same chapter, he's like, you guys don't, I don't think you guys understand. So let me reiterate. If you guys were all on Earth,
He does.
and you guys were all fighting against me, I could reach down, pull you and the entire Earth up to me. So shut
He does today. He goes, if all of you guys had golden chains and poles versus me in a tug of war match, I would win.
right. Yeah. He really dragged his nuts on in that chapter, you know?
And then when he's talking to the daughter, he was like, okay, listen, I expected it from her, right? Because she's a bitch. But from you? He's like, from you, really? He goes, I'm more mad at you, actually. Fuck. Like he literally said that shit, you know? That's so. That's what I'm talking about. Like, all that is like not even in my presentation at all. But like, I feel like if you want all that, you can read the book, right? I give you like what the book was about.
You can go get the carbs and fats yourself,
Yeah.
you know?
Go do the hunting. Go do the hunting in the gathering. On.
Maybe that's a good North Star though for like how, I don't know, for me, like what I'm gonna do is like I'm gonna read it really like, okay, what do I think is fine? What do I think is like the meat and potato of something, and be like, that's actually like that should go in my presentation too, you know?
That right there to zoom in and give that a time like that, because that's funny. You could memify that because like that was funny.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
How about you, John? Did you have a favorite part of this week's reading?
I mean, my favorite part was book 8 too. Like kind of the conclusion of all the build up. I loved Hector like literally getting his moment, because before he went back home to his wife and she was like, "Don't do it, bro. Like, you won't come back home." You know, he's like, honor,
Yep.
pride, loyalty to the boys. And then so he rides off with his brother, and then yeah, like, and then them ending with like I pictured as them ore farming. Like I imagine like there's like two tents next to each other, and like one's like dark and dreary, like wah wah, and the other one's really like like wait till tomorrow. I don't know. Are they dry? I just stopped them because it's making noise. Sorry.
My favorite part was, well, there's a couple. So first, in chapters 5 and 6, Hector is like the dog, bro. Like when Apollo's with him, it's like the way it's written, it sounds like he's on some like lightsaber anime shit. He's like combing through the fucking armies, just like fucking dude, son. Right. Yeah. And then, you know, Athena's like, wait a minute, like this ain't right. And then she comes down and intervenes. But leading up to that point, Mars or Apollo, and Hector as like a combination are just fucking the Achaeans up. So like I thought that was a really cool, just the imagery and the writing, and then the like the imagination of like what you're seeing. For me, what I was seeing in my brain while I was reading it was like, wow, this is an epic fight. Like really, Hector's going bananas. And then secondly, the way to bring humanity into the brutality of war with like Hector with his wife and son, or Diomed and Glaucus, where they're like, let's shake hands, exchange armor like it's NBA.
Cheers. Let's talk about that. Literally the original jersey swap has been going on since then. It's like the jersey swap, biggest sign of respect for like athletes.
Right. So like there's like a dessert in that chapter of like there's humanity. There is still humanity that's going on in the war. People can recognize we're human. And like there's points where they're even friendly, like, okay, you know, Hector's like, all right, let's pause. I challenge one person.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like it's interesting to see how the war like ebbs and flows.
Yeah. And then like talk about like the divine intervention with Zeus stopping everybody. I feel like I really wanted to highlight that leading up to that, every time, like, let's say the Trojans get momentum, the female goddesses like stop that, right? Like Hector's literally like a dog off the leash, and they're like, whoa, someone put a leash on him. And so like it's very frustrating for both sides. It's frustrating for Zeus, right? You know? And that's why, like, I think that's why I liked 8 so much. It's kind of like the relieving of all the build of what's going on, which is like, I think what everyone's feeling. The gods, the humans want to go home too. Like Zeus is tired of it, so that's funny.
Yeah. It was like that, like the climax, like we're getting to like the climax of like an arc of an anime where it's like, oh shit, here we go.
No, finally, yeah. Now the bulls can eat for real. Yeah, no.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting in my chapter too. I didn't touch on this, but or I didn't expand upon it as much, but I felt more like reading this like as a drama play, and it kind of made it flow a little bit better. Like I'm imagining people on a stage and it's like, oh, like how could you do this or something, you know? And then the emotional weight of war and the references of them be like Hector and who's he fighting? Shoot. The I keep forgetting their names. Ajax, yeah, where they're like equally yoked in their strength, but then that is also a sign of the armies in some way.
Now, low-key, Ajax was winning that. I wanted to touch on that, I'm glad you brought it up. In the story, Ajax is winning him move for move. The other guy's just keeping up. But then night falls, and then he's kind of like, hey, I heard, no fighting at night. Did you hear that? And Ajax is kind of like, he agrees because he knows, like, okay, he's winning right now, yes. But at any moment, he could die or get injured, and the shit's kind of fucked up. So he's like, as a gentleman, I'd have to agree. And at nighttime, gentlemen don't fight. And then they're both like, right? All right. I respect you, dog. Big bro.
Dude, who's the most honorable? It's like, who's the most like, oh, no, please. Yeah. Yeah.
If anything, what was happening in that particular moment, because Ajax was winning, because Zeus had the scales, it's already predetermined that Troy's going to have the victory, or right now, the upper hand as of today. So, like, Hector should have lost that, but because the scales of fate weighed on their side, he was allowed the out through the nighttime gentleman thing, and Ajax allowed it. I feel like that's like what was happening right there.
Yeah. When the squire stepped in, like, all right, it's nighttime, it's time to chill. Ajax was like, well, Hector needs to tell me that himself.
Yeah, he actually says that. He's like, if he says so, I'll allow it.
It's in the Coursera video that I was watching, the summary at the end is saying that Homer's laying the stage for like compassion. Thought that was interesting too, where like both sides are like, all right, we're human. Let's just like everybody chill out for a sec. We'll resume tomorrow morning at 8 a.m.
You just like, he's like, I might die right now. It's 101.
Like, yeah, he hit him with that rock. He's like, wait a minute.
And he picks up a boulder, and he picks up a bigger boulder, and he throws it. It's like, whoa.
Personally, here, petty the gods can be, like Poseidon. If he's like, dude, they didn't sacrifice, but they can't build my wall right here, or the wall on the earth. He's like, that's mine. Zeus is like, bro, relax. You could just destroy it tomorrow.
Zeus is like, you're the earthquake god.
Right.
You're worried about that? He's like, when did you grow so small? King of the earthquakes. That's literally how Zeus was.
Right.
He's like,
It's okay. You have a favorite part?
It's probably, I think, book 7. Hector like kind of takes over. That was kind of like that was just an enjoyable read. But I did like my book, where what's his name? Like the main warrior by yeah. He's like just animating that and making it like so graphic. That was just so fun. So like I'm like excited for the next book.
He threw a spear through his jaw right next to his second.
Blew his tongue.
I like redesigned that between condoms to get it so like specific.
Yeah. Absolutely crazy. And
yeah, well, I want to give you a shout out, like, along with me reading everything. I mean, I listened to the audiobook from that guy that you sent us. Like, I re-listened to books 5 through 8 like a bunch of times, and then like not only did I read it, like I reread my chapter just with the audio because I really wanted to make sure like I want to fucking do a good job with this, but that was a great tool because like it's so reading it so wordy.
Yeah.
It's kind of fucking. It's like chewy. Like we're using food metaphors. It's kind of hard to enjoy it, you know. But like when you got the fucking British guy helping you read along, you know, you can kind of take a little bit mental load and put it towards the pictures in your head, and then you're like, okay, this is kind of, you know. So
The language is so flowery that it feels like it has fat on it. You know?
it's just so much. It's just like super super dense, and it's a lot, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Do you guys have a favorite character from this week's reading so far?
My boy Hector.
Hector?
I kind of like Ajax. Like he just kind of handles business. He's just like, all right, I'm the biggest.
Yeah.
You're like, I'm not even gonna complain. I'm just like, he's like, all right, I'll do it.
I will say this: when he was chosen, like everyone was like, "Thank God it was Ajax."
He's serious in the gym, you know?
Yeah, they're like next to Achilles. He's our next go.
They were pissed that they were in the position they were in, like that
Yeah,
wanted to step up, but they're also like, oh, I know.
I want to highlight too, like at the end of the day, the reason why the Greeks are even in this position is because what happened in book 1 with Agamemnon, like being disrespectful to Achilles, you know, and disrespecting like his woman and stuff, right? And like now here they are, you know, they're fucking starting quarterback can't be in the war, and he goes, we can win the war without you, bro. You think you're special? He goes, everyone's replaceable, right? And then he's like, oh yeah. Go ahead and put second string in there, coach. See how that goes. See how that flies. And then literally Hector's becoming the GOAT in front of them. They're like, oh, Achilles gonna be Hector. No.
Yeah. In basketball, they always say it whenever people get injured is next man up.
Yeah.
And it's been a story of next man up. For myself, I say Hector as well, man. To do such damage in books 5 and 6, and then in 6 to go back to the city to see his wife, and then his wife to be like, look, just don't go to the war, just stay here with me. For him to have the integrity to say I can't do that as much as I really want to like, you know, understand what his position is and where he is in relative to other people in the Trojan army. I do like that a lot. Hector recognizes what his purpose is and is a valiant warrior. So I would say up to this point, Hector has been my favorite, especially in this week's reading with 5 through 8. Hector's been my favorite.
Yeah.
And an honorable mention for Diomed, because the dude just went absolutely bananas in book 5.
Yeah, book 5, he literally was, he was like main character of book 5. Just literally like,
Yeah.
no one stops me, boy.
Yeah, I mean, the Trojan army was like, all right, we got to handle this. Like, he goes sacrifice to a god to handle this.
We literally have to, okay? Like, it's bad.
Oh, yeah. All right. Anything else to add before I take us out?
Nope. Exactly.
All right. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Paradyme Podcast. We're so grateful that you're here, and we hope you're reading along with us. If you are, drop your favorite book down in the comment section below from this week's reading. Before you take off, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell right next to the subscribe button so you're updated every time we drop a new video. And again, super grateful for you to be here. Follow us on our social media platforms. All you need will be down in the description box below. And remember, who you are now equals who you'll be tomorrow. Peace.